Welcome back, folks, to another episode of Business from the Bass Boat Podcast on the Serious Angler Network. And folks, today's show we are in not in Boise, Idaho. We are actually in Colorado at my parents' place. I am here post Thanksgiving, and actually, am kind of going to be potentially back and forth between Idaho, Colorado, but more than anything, am here visiting family, getting a couple of hunts in while I'm here. In addition to that, just working away remotely, and then actually teaser, I will be flying out to New York with Andrew Bailey, the Serious Angler boys, and we've got some in-person meeting stuff going on, and super excited for some of that. Just some brand planning, if you will, end of 2024, going into 2025. So, in a little bit of thinking through that, normally this time of year, it's a time for reflection and looking back at 2024, looking into 2025. And this show, I think, is going to be a little different. I've done shows in the past where I talk about my personal fishing and what I'm looking forward to in 2025. And we'll certainly dive into a lot of that because that is very big for me, big changes there in 2025. But I figured I'd kind of open up a little bit on my life, and hopefully this will help someone else maybe chasing down their goals, dreams, whatever anyone is after. And something I haven't really done in the past. So figured I've got a couple of notepads in front of me, stuff I've just been thinking about. And as I kind of prepare for our end of year meetings and everything else, kind of opened up more on personal stuff too. So yeah, so I guess let's dig into a little bit of that. Hopefully folks are still also getting out on the water. I was able to get out in Idaho before heading to Colorado. Got an antelope hunt with my dad and brother, buddy of mine, starting here soon. Just got back from a late season elk hunt in Wyoming that was not successful, but was great to get out and see a bunch of good friends. But been working hard, playing hard, and now it's time for a little reflection. So let's dig into 2024. Did not fish as much at the higher level as I did in years past. And that was tough for me, I think. I really enjoy traveling and getting to fish at some of these bigger places. Good news is 2025, we are about as chock full as I have been, or at the highest level that I have fished consistently, especially out west. So super excited for that. But that was a little bit of a downer for me, although I did fish a lot locally. A lot of team tournaments, solo tournaments, local in Idaho, which has been fun for me because it's all new water, right? It's not like I've in Colorado, I got pretty bored fishing the same fisheries over and over. Idaho's all new to me. And so it's been fun to really break those down. And I'm excited to expand on those in 2025. But it's a big year of change, right? For me, man, massive changes, moved to Idaho and, job change and relationship, got out of a long relationship and all of these kinds of things. And so, big year change for me. And I've really, really grown and have enjoyed it, quite frankly. I think that, you get challenged and that's what makes life great. And it's hard to see that in the moment. But, yeah, I guess, being in a completely different place and not really knowing a ton of people. Number one, leaned a bunch on the fishing community. Love how that is a common thread everywhere I've been. The bass fishing world, fishing community in general, is a very tight knit group, and people bring you in, which has ben fantastic in Idaho. So super super big shout out to that, and just friends that I've met along the way and have stayed friends with since high school fishing. Right, so all that's been great, but it's really challenged me to get out and meet people in person. And that's something that I didn't realize for me was a driver in filling my cup, I guess, if you will. I really enjoy interactions. That's why I started a podcast during COVID. It was like, well, there's not really in-person interactions. And I enjoy all of that, but I really enjoy, for instance, the Bassmaster Classic or events that are in person. That's just, I really enjoy making connections with people in person and those types of things. And that was a big part of my career change too. I mean, more from the lending world to the actual farm and ranch real estate world of being out on properties, more in-person interactions rather than interactions over the phone and sitting behind a computer, which I still do plenty of that, don't get me wrong, but I thrive in those in-person interactions. And so, yeah, I guess a piece of advice there for anyone who is kind of in their, um, it could be someone in their 20s, but it could be anyone who's considering kind of a career change or those types of things. I mean, I think really lean into what maybe some of your natural talents are, and also where you are getting the most satisfaction for yourself and where you're bringing value to the world. And so I think those are all super important things and something to really pay attention to, because it's hard doing something you don't necessarily like as much. And it's not to say that there's going to be times with every job that is not great, but yeah, just some reflecting thoughts I've had in 2024. Um, Big podcast growth year for us on the Serious Angler Network. I feel like we've made a lot of really strong strides in 2024. We've developed some great partner relationships. Especially excited to announce some of those in 2025. And we've kept the ball rolling there, and have kind of, I feel like, cemented ourselves in the fishing industry in a lot of ways. And so that's been really, really fun to see progress. And I can't wait for 2025 and just working with Bailey and Andrew and the entire team at Serious Angler Podcast has been so much fun. So yeah, I mean, I think also another factor for me in 2024 has been certainly from a fitness perspective. I've leaned in a little bit harder, or have certainly harder than I have in the past. And I've always been a gym guy, running guy, some sort of activity. I've stepped that up a little bit in 2024, and that's been great for me. Um, I just feel better. Sleep's been a big factor too. I've really tried to lean into sleeping more and more, and routine. I've never thought I was really a routine guy, but I've enjoyed it actually, quite frankly. And I think that kind of leans into some of my stuff in 2025. And from a fishing perspective, right? Like I've done it where I've been in under super financial stress, fishing tournaments, and then times when I haven't been, and I seem to fish a lot better when I'm not that way. And I think all of that's correlated, right? For me anyway, fitness wise, if everything's okay at home, if financially stable, all of those types of things. And so my goal for 2025 is to really fish at the highest level in the West, in my opinion, on the BAM Super 60 Pro Tour, um, and not worry about it financially, if that makes sense. And that's through partner support. That's through my own finances and those types of things of like, I fish better when I'm not worried about cashing a check, right? I think that's when you can make those swings and go really try and bust a top 10 or try and chase down a win, or in those situations, especially at the higher level. So super excited for that in 2025. And for me, right, I kind of made this transition of like, at one point in time, I wanted to be a full-time pro and fish your big tours out east, and kind of made that decision here recently, really. And it's been a progression, but like, I enjoy fishing is a very high priority in my life, right? I mean, I made a podcast about it. Let's be real here. But it is not all of my life, right? And I have enjoyed other things, hunting trips, spending times with family, spending time with friends, meeting new people, um, all sorts of things. My career, I really love what I do in farm and ranch real estate. And so all of those kind of things have taught me that, hey, it's okay to fish at a high level. And I need to be fishing very often, in my opinion, as well, to fish at that high level and be competitive. But I can do other things as well. And so that's just, I think everyone's kind of different. You have to really know yourself and what you are after. But I made the decision, like, look, I don't think I am one of the greats by any means at the high level. I think I'm a great angler, but at that pro top tier, you know, I think there's a lot of guys that ride that middle ground, which is, look, more power to everybody that's doing that. I'm not taking that away from anybody, but I viewed other things as a little bit more important life wise for me. And so was super excited to fish in 2025. I'm fishing the Super 60, which I'm just fired up about. This is my first kind of pro tour, have to wrap the boat, wrap jersey. I've never been that guy, even fishing in the Toyota Series or Opens or wherever. And so super excited to do that in 2025, do the whole thing. Goals there. So there's 4 main season tournaments and then the championship at the end of the year. Number one goal is to make the championship. I think this is pretty clear with tournament series, especially those that are kind of more structured. Make the year championship. Generally, that's where you're making a good portion of your money. And a big goal for me in all of that is to make 3 top 10s. Top 10s in this format specifically give you a chance to win rather quickly or rather abruptly because weights are zeroed on the final day. So if you can get to that top 10, anyone's got a shot at $50,000, which is just a bunch of fun. And I think that adrenaline rush of chasing that final day W, that win at the end, is going to be super exciting in this format. And so super fired up for that. I'm putting a lot of work in on the sponsorship side and all of that this off season, which has been great. In addition to that, looking at pre-practicing a couple of these lakes, just dependent on time of the year. I'm not the biggest pre-practice guy if it's going to be a transition time of year. But these tournaments have no pre-practice whatsoever. Or sorry, no practice 30 days prior to the event. We roll in on a Thursday night into town. Tournament starts Friday. Saturday, final days, cut to top 10 on Sunday. So there's no practice, which is going to be new to me. I've learned to rely a little bit on practice in finding fish in these events, especially the Toyota Series, these events where, hey, I'm dropping an $1,800 entry fee. I'm going to go put time in and find some fish and that kind of a thing. And in this case, you can do that 30 days out, right? So some of these I'm going to strategically do that on. If it's a place I've never been, it's a place where it's a stable time of year, more of your winter time or your summertime or those types of times of year, right, are more stable versus around the spawn or in the springtime when things are changing daily. It doesn't make sense necessarily to be there 30 days in advance because those fish are not going to be anywhere near where they were, type of a thing, right? But so thinking through a little bit of that, really doing a lot of planning schedule wise and making sure I'm keeping up on my responsibilities, right? Work wise, podcast wise, all of those types of things. Those are big goals for me in 2025. I mean, I certainly tend to get really busy and make myself really busy. And I think that's good. It drives me, but at some point in time, it's also a negative factor, right? Things start to slip. You can't be great at everything. So learning how to do a little bit better, balancing wise with all that I have going, delegating more, figuring out the best systems. Probably systems are a big goal for me in 2025. A system that says, okay, here's how I can do these type of tasks and get done with them effectively, put my best foot forward and efficiently. So big goals for me in 2025. Another thing that I've really enjoyed here in Idaho that we really didn't have a great opportunity in Colorado is fishing for panfish. I mean, you want to talk about having some of the most fun and also just great at getting you good at live scope, quite frankly, is fishing for these giant perch that are in these lakes in Idaho, fishing for the giant crappie and just having a great time. And I also love eating those types of fish. It's a great way to take people out and go fun fishing. And so that's kind of a goal for 2025 for me, is to spend more time doing that, having fun fishing rather than necessarily always tournament fishing, which I feel like I had a pretty good balance of in 2024. Did take some folks out and did some just solo fun fishing. That's a great thing for me too. I love breaking down a place solo or anything like that that's not a tournament related, where there's no stress related to that. So more pan fishing in 2025, catching crappie, catching perch, having a great time doing so, and can't wait for that. ABA tournaments, team tournaments for me are a great time, especially my buddy Lauren. We have a fun time chasing those around. So doing those again in 2025 locally here. Got some, of course, schedules conflicts always. I think he's going to have to fish one solo when I'm at the Classic. He's going to probably, I think there's one that he's missing as well. So, anyways, just schedule conflicts there with the BAM 60. That's priority number one. And then team tournaments. And then if I can fit in any of the pro-ams that BAM is putting on, would love to fish those as well to support the trail. Not to mention, I think it's a great payback and all that type of stuff. I mean, no one else is doing what they are doing in the West. Super fired up for the schedule, though. I mean, we're talking, pull it up real quick just to walk through it a little bit. We've got Don Pedro in California, which I have never been to. I believe there's largemouth spotted bass and maybe smallmouth in there too. I've done a little bit of research, but really need to dig into that further. Super excited for that one. That is to start in basically end of March is when that tournament starts. So super fired up for that one. Should be a pre-spawn time of year, I would presume, in Northern California. That's number one. Number two is hasn't been fully decided. I believe it is going to be on Mojave. I don't know that for sure, but somewhere down further south, some spawning still probably happen. That's the first week of May, essentially, on that one. So great time of year to be fishing. I mean, two bomb times a year for me, fishing wise, that I just enjoy getting out those times of year. Then we kind of have a little bit of a break, right? And that's what I think I like about this format too. It's not like super spring loaded. So after that event, we go to the Columbia River in Boardman, out of Boardman anyway. And that is in August. Let me confirm the date here. Oop. I want to say it's the second weekend of August or something. Let's see. Columbia River. Come on. Yep. So that is August 22nd, 24th. So the third week of August. That place is unreal. It's nice because it's only 3.5, 4 hours from the house. And I've only been there one time now, and it was incredible. So super fired up for that. Then big break all the way until first week of October, California Delta. Haven't spent much time in the Delta in the fall, but I love the Delta. Fired up for that. And then Clear Lake in November, which Clear Lake is just got giants. Again, another place I haven't spent time in the fall, but fired up to fish Clear Lake if I can make that championship November 14th through the 16th in Northern California. So super, super excited for those events. Probably another thing outside of fishing that I'm fired up for in 2025 is saying all of this. Sure, there still could be a local event, and I fished a very heavy September this year. Going to try and not do that this year. I really, really love archery elk hunting, and I haven't been able to do it as much as I have in the past. And I really enjoy archery elk hunting. It's probably my favorite when it comes to big game hunting for me. And so September is the month for that. And looking at the schedule, it's like, gosh, I've got a break from end of August to first week of October. And of course, work comes first in a lot of this for me. But if I've got a couple of gaps in there, I think I'm going to really spend some time in the Elkwoods this year. Fired up for that. That's a big goal of mine in 2025. Again, that's one of those things. It fills my cup. I need to spend time doing that. I really enjoy that. So that's 2025 as far as fishing, hunting stuff goes. Real estate wise and work wise, right? I'm a farm and ranch real estate broker, both in Idaho and Colorado, and I've really leaned heavier into that, especially this last year, and have made some significant progress. And so cementing myself further in the industry there, especially Idaho, in addition to Colorado, is a big goal of mine. I've really enjoyed that. am working on some big deals and have had some incredible experiences. And so again, another thing that fills my cup and that keeps all the wheels turning on my end. So fired up for that in 2025. Continuing the balance between all this stuff is a big deal for me, and more in-person stuff, right? I mean, I think that's a big thing for me that I've really liked, and I think it's knowing yourself, right? So if you're someone who's not as big into that stuff, do the things that are filling your cup. Serious Angler Network 2025. Super excited for our meetings here. We've got a lot to announce. We've got some pretty awesome stuff coming in 2025. I cannot wait to talk about some of all this stuff live. But big goal of mine is to have some sort of product internally within our brand, right? Um, I think that it would be really, really fun to have something that we can all stamp our names on as the Serious Angler crew, a product that we really have a lot of faith and trust in. And we're all pretty picky with our gear when it comes to Bailey, Andrew, and I. So having products that are matching kind of our level of quality that we all desire in gear, I think is something we have got interest in 2025. So not gonna say anything specific around that at this point, but just excited for the future there and what we can kind of do as a team. Family time has been important to me, and this time at home has been awesome. Thanksgiving to Christmas time here, I've got to be in between a little bit, but spending a lot of time in December with the family. So more family trips, those types of things, fill my cup, right? And I think that's just all super important. And yeah, I mean, really for me, that's kind of 2025 outlook, what I'm looking for individually. And I think also figuring out a little bit of the direction, quite frankly, with this show, with Business from the Bass Boat. I mean, I think at times I go different places, right? And maybe that's a good thing, but I think of like how this show started, and it was specific to entrepreneurs in the fishing world and businesses in the fishing industry, which I still do a decent amount of, but I also enjoy covering some of the tournament stuff, especially in the West, right? And the stuff that I'm in tune with and excited about being out here and trying to grow the West further. And then I also enjoy covering boat stuff and motor stuff and the things all related to interests there. And so it's a very niche specific show. And I really appreciate everyone that's followed along with it. And I'm guess I'm gonna ask for feedback. What are the shows that you enjoy the most? What are the shows you dislike? All that kind of stuff. Send a comment on YouTube. Shoot us a message on social media. Send an email to the Angler Network. All of that's all on our website. But fire something in. Give us some thoughts here. Give me some feedback and different things on what's been your favorite shows, your least favorite shows. Where would you like to see the show go in the future? What types of guests would you like to have on? I think all that stuff's super healthy and worth just kind of discussing, because we all go through phases of like, hey, what if I change things up here? What if I do this? Your interests change, right? All that. Yeah, I mean, I guess the last thing for me in 2025 is probably a fitness related goal. So I am 29 years old right now. So I will be 30 next year in 2025, in December of 2025. So stealing this goal from a buddy of mine, and I think this is a big deal too, is being around people that push you and as individuals, um, and they're always looking to see you at your best in those types of things, and doing that for each other, I think is really, really important. And a good buddy of mine has put his goal when he turns 30, same age as myself. He wants to be in the best shape of his life. And I think everyone can kind of define that separately. What's considered the best shape of your life for you, and what are your goals fitness wise? But I'm working on that to decide what I want that to look like in 2025. But I'm still in that goal. I think that that's an awesome goal, and I've been working really hard in the gym and putting time in a lot of things. Joined a run club in Boise. That's been an absolute blast. So there's a lot there. So excited for 2025 related to all of that, and excited to take you guys along with the journey and everything that we are doing on the Serious Angler Network, myself, and all the above. So with that, I hope everyone has a wonderful week as we get closer to Christmas here and closer to 2025. Yeah, but please comment below. Give us some feedback. Give me some feedback on different things on YouTube. If you're listening on Spotify or anywhere else, shoot us a message. Shoot me a message on my social media as well. Really appreciate all that stuff and the people who listen and make the show possible. So with that, have a good week, everybody. And we will certainly see you next time and down the road. We may even have some fun shows coming up here with Andy, Bailey, and I, because we're going to be screwing around together, which always ends up going to be a great time. Curious to see what kind of content comes out out of all of that. All right. We'll see you guys later.